First and foremost, before we get started, I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rikah Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone, while unto his truth, and also to those elect that scattered abroad. I'd like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great, powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And the title of today's lesson is News and Prophecy, War Escalation. So I'd like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So I have a few news articles that we're going to read off, things that I've been seeing through the spirit. We constantly seeing what? War escalation, all around the world. Things are getting very, very critical. Things are getting very, very, dangerous. It's a very evil time that we're living in. We're constantly seeing that, we're seeing that Russia is going back and forth, with Ukraine, also back and forth with the West and also with Israel. We constantly seeing these things are constantly rolling out right before our eyes. We're constantly seeing what the war drums are beating. So I have a few news articles I'm going to bring out, things I've been seeing through the spirit. That's why the Lord had set up watchmen. The Lord said, warn them for me. That's what we're constantly warning you for, these things that are coming, that is fast approaching us left and right. So now, I start here first with this one here by the New York Post, and it reads that said Putin helicopter came under fire from Ukrainian drones during Kurt's visit, Kremlin amidst. It says here, Russian President Vladimir Putin helicopter came under fire from Ukrainian drone during his visit to the contested Kursk region last week, the Kremlin has admitted. Said Yuri Daskin, commander of an air defense division, revealed Sunday that while Putin made his victory rounds in the reconquered Russian region on May the 20th, his helicopter was caught in the middle of an aerial barrage from Kyiv State news agency TASS reported. The helicopter was virtually at the center repelling a large-scale attack by the enemy drones, Daskin claimed. Let's get a little bit more. It says here, therefore, we simultaneously conducted an air defense battle and ensured the safety of the presidential helicopter flight in the air, he added. Said Daskin provided no evidence to claim, and the account could not be independently verified. So right here, we've been hearing a lot of rumors that, that it was another assassination attempt on, it has not been confirmed, but it's rumors right now that it was another attempt, to take this man out. And also it's saying that they are blaming Ukrainian President Zelensky for this this attack on his helicopter. So they're saying it was about 39, I think, or 45 drones. But anyway, they're going back and forth. So knowing right now that Putin is constantly bombing the hell out of Ukraine, we already knowing that Ukraine is constantly fighting a proxy war for the West and Israel. So one thing about it, we see it right now, things are getting ready to escalate. Also, it's saying about Europe is getting ready to constantly supply Ukraine with different weapons and stuff. He's already saying that Putin has already warned them about constantly getting involved, the West and also the UK, and Great Britain, about getting involved. So we already know that these things, it's going to constantly be a broader war. We see that it's constantly getting larger and larger. We see that the Lord is constantly moving the chess pieces around each and every day. We constantly warning you about these things. But once again, that is saying that this man has already had a couple of assassination attempt on his man life. And one thing about it, we already knowing that these things gonna constantly every day gonna be common. And one thing about it, we seeing that Trump is constantly saying that, saying that Putin has lost his mind, saying that he is crazy. But one thing about it is that, he's not saying that this man came under attack or this drone attack. So a lot of things that, they're not putting in the news, but this, right here, they're saying that it's been rumors that Ukraine put this drone attack into play. They said it was engineered from them. But one thing about it, we constantly developing stories. So these things are constantly coming in left and right. So right here now it's saying that President Trump is constantly retaliating, with constantly striking Kyiv and different other parts of Ukraine, and also that he said he's getting ready to gain more territory. And the peace talks pretty much are under the table, that Trump trying to negotiate and trying to settle this war, trying to what you call peace talks. But one thing about it, when they say peace and safety, then total destruction will come upon it. So we're seeing that right now, war escalation pretty much every day. Tensions is rising. Nations are rising against nations. The heathens are raging. The Lord's calling these things to happen. Everything is under the control of who? Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua. That's constantly seeing these things that's constantly playing out right before our eyes. So now I got another one right here about a executive bill that I think Donald Trump, Salaki, that DJ Donald Trump just passed not too long ago. Very interesting. It's this is going to work hand in hand with this what you call this, Salakia, Project 25, just getting a little, get my train of thought together. Salakia for that. But anyway, right here, just got to hear about CBS News. It said President Trump, big, beautiful bill passes in the U.S. House. Texans in Congress react. So, seeing right here, this bill right here got a lot of things in it, but I don't think I want to go into too much because, it's really, we get around to look up this bill, but I got a video bringing it out with a little bit more edification. It's talking about cuts in Medicare, talking about food stamp cuts, a lot of different things that this bill consists of, very interesting things. And also it was another one in there about, I can't think of it right off, but anyway, it's in the video. But anyway, it's a young lady was breaking it down. It says here, I don't think I want to go into it, but we get around to look up the big, beautiful bill. And we're going to get a little bit more edification with this video I got. So I'm not going to go into it. It's a lot of reading, but this is very interesting. This is going into that Project 25, something that Trump keep denying that, that he don't have anything to do with that. But, I got another one here. Let's go to this next clip I got right here. Just something I'm just constantly seeing in the news. This about this Golden Dome, defense system, which in fact is similar to the one that Israel got. I think theirs called I can't think what it's called, but it's something similar to the one they are trying to put up in the U.S. Let's read this right quick. It says Russia, China, North Korea condemns Trump 175 billion Golden Dome missile shield. So we seeing these nations right now, they're not funny. This dealing with they trying to put they trying to weaponize space. We put it like that. I don't want to go too deep into this, but it says the U.S. Chief adversaries, Russia, North Korea, China, all of which are nuclear-armed nations, have condemned President Donald Trump's space-based defense plan he dubbed the Golden Dome as dangerous and a threat to global stability. Said the president discussed his 175 billion plan, which will use satellites and other technology to detect and intercept a missile strike. So even if they are launched from other sides of the world, Trump said last week, said the defense plan through Says so like the defense plan, though it is believed to be years away before being fully operational, despite Trump 3-year goal mark, said spark stiff backlash from the U.S. top competitors who took direct aim at what they call Trump arrogance. Arrogance. So, but Salaki for that. But anyway, we see it right here that this golden dome is similar to the Iron Dome, what's going on in Israel. So right now, all of a sudden, now they want to make this type of missile defense shield to guard America. And also, it was rumors that were saying that about Canada. You say if they want to participate, they're saying that they can get in free, and all they have to become is the 51st state. But we already knowing that, this is right here, right when he's trying to fill his belly, the Lord's going to cast the wrath of his fury upon him. So we know right now that this man right here is constantly signing things. He's constantly trying to put things into place, left and right. And also he's constantly going to be targeting people of color. It's another little one I got in here before we get a quick precept. If I can find it right quick, there's another one. If I can get to it, there's another one I want to bring out. And if I can find it, if not, we're going to move on. There's another one about this Texas Starlink construction. And we already know they get ready to bring this digital infrastructure into place, So a lot of things that's constantly happening. They're moving in warp speed, So these things constantly coming into place. So I don't think my phone it don't want to act right. So I think we'll shut it down with that. So let's get a quick precept. Let's go here first to Proverbs. Let's go here first with Proverbs chapter 21, Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 1. Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 1. The Lord is calling these things to happen. And it says here, the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord. So as the rivers of water, he turns it wheresoever he will. So one thing about it is we know that the Lord is constantly in perfect control. The Lord is controlling the minds of these leaders, across the world, what I'm saying? And we see in left and right, the Lord, said in Matthew chapter 24 that, it's going to be nation rise against nation, rumors of wars, all sorts of conflicts, and we seeing that, uproars of the people. A lot of things is constantly happening left and right. So, the Lord is in perfect control. The Lord is calling these things to happen. That Ezekiel chapter 38 war is rolling out right before our eyes. The Lord is gathering the nation. We seeing the tension is constantly rising. Also, we keeping our eyes upon what Israel every day. We're talking about Iran, Israel. Israel talking about coming in doing some type of attack on them, and also with Russia. Russia keeps telling NATO and also the West to stay out of their business. So these things are going back and forth. And also, there was already rumors that China is getting ready to invade Taiwan. So we've been talking about this for the last year or so, or maybe a little bit longer. But we know that these things are going to happen. We know that at the end it shall speak and not lie. So let's get this one here before we start today's video. Let's go to this one here, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, when they say peace and safety. So, DJ Donald Trump is constantly trying to bring peace, but we already know that there will be no peace. All hell is getting ready to break loose. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 1, it said, but of the times and the season, brethren, ye have no need of that I write unto you. So we know exactly well what time, that we in. What I'm saying? One thing about it, we seeing all the signs of the time. We seeing that these prophets are speaking loud and clear. We seeing that things are rolling out right before our eyes, more obvious and clear that we're in that season, and one thing about it, we're living in the last day, and we still have a lot of what scoffing and mocking, but hey, the Lord's getting ready to put that to rest too also. Verse 2 said, for For yourself know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. So what thing about it, the Lord will return, on people what unexpectedly, when they're not aware, when they're not considering, when they're still thinking that they're a good case, and the Lord is going to show up. We already know how thieves show up when you're sleeping, when you're not at home. The Lord's going to show up while when you're sleeping. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are constantly spiritually dead. You know, they're constantly walking around, still don't know who they are, still don't know who their true power, still don't know what time they were living in, and also don't know the events that's taking place right before our eyes, and you are going to be totally destroyed. Let's read this once again. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 2 said, for yourself know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. So the Lord's going to show up. You know what I'm saying? When the Lord show up, it's not going to be any more talking. Verse 3 said, For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So that's where we at right now. Every day, Putin is constantly saying that Trump can't do a damn thing to stop this war. And one thing about it, it's dead in the water right now. All the negotiating, trying to negotiate with Iran about their nuclear capability. Now, over here, what I'm saying, they over there telling, come to some type of peace deal, ceasefire, all this different thing. It will be no peace. It's getting ready, the Lord is getting ready to bring the hammer down. The Lord is getting ready to come down with great wrath. One thing about it, and also we know that this red devil, get ready to bring forth, all sorts of wicked devices. This new digital infrastructure. Once again, I goes over these things left and right, and also we know that once again what they're building in Texas, that new Starlink construction. And one thing about it, we already know this is going to be dealing with this new digital society, this new digital currency that is going to work hand in hand with this the grain of rice, the MOTB. And one thing about it, man, these things are right before I. Let's read this in the NLT. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 3 said, so when people are saying everything is peaceful and secure, then disaster will fall on them as suddenly as a pregnant woman labor pains begin, and there will be no escape. So one thing about it, these things gonna come without warning. That's what we constantly warning you about. Any given day, man, these things can go down right before our eyes. That's why I named the day lesson war escalation. Things are escalating. Tension is rising. Things are boiling. It's constantly seeing things. It's constantly spiraling out of control. And one thing about it, we're coming upon that time, the hour of temptation, Jacob trouble. So now let's start today's video, and after the video we'll start the lesson, and I hope that you will get edified. Let's go here. I'm just gonna read this little one out before we start the video. It says here, Russia takes more land, declares peace deal is dead. Said America must now prepare for the prospect of war. So that's just like I just read. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 3. When they say peace is safety. It's no more. It says dead in the water. Putin is right now. What I'm saying. He's ready to get busy. We already know that Russia is gonna get it popping. Hit through the spirit of power. How about Shema Shada? So now, let's start today's video, and after the video, we'll start the lesson, and I hope that you will get edified.
2 days ago, Ukraine launched drones in an attempt to bring down Putin's helicopter with him inside. During Putin's weekend visit to the front line, Zelensky ordered drones to try to take down Putin. 46 of these drones were launched directly at Putin's helicopter on Saturday night, and all 46 were luckily intercepted and did not reach his aircraft. Now, this is the first time on either side that the president himself has been attacked directly. This wasn't a missile strike. This was a precise UAV attack on Putin.
Поэтому мы одновременно вели противовоздушный бой и обеспечили безопасность в воздухе пролета вертолета президента.
An all-out air defense battle took place. The helicopter had evasive maneuvers, and Putin himself was in real danger. And all it would have taken is one of these to get through. Do we all know the severity of this situation? The Ukraine tried to take him out. If this happened, the world today would have been completely different than it would have. This video would not have been made if this attack was successful, by the way.
Some time last night to read the big, beautiful bill that passed the House by one single majority vote. And, of course, we already knew about the cuts to Medicaid over the next few years, the cuts to Medicare, the cuts to Social Security, the cuts to SNAP and WIC. We already knew about those things. So I wasn't shell-shocked by that, right? Like, I knew that that was in that bill, and that's why people are like, I don't want you to pass this bill. But there's some other shit in that bill that y'all need to know about, okay? Buried within this bill is the consolidation of power under the executive branch. And what I mean by that is buried within this bill is, remember how, like lately he's been coming after these judges, talking about how they're corrupt and everything because they're not siding with him when the judicial process goes on, because all three branches of government are equal. The judicial branch, the executive branch, and the legislative branch. All three branches are equal, and they're supposed to be checks and balances for each other so that one branch of government doesn't have the most power and therefore cannot turn this into a what? Right, dictatorship, true. Well, this big, beautiful bill is what's supposed to turn us into a dictatorship, okay? This bill allows for Trump to ignore the Supreme Court's rulings for a year or more. This bill does also allow for Trump, if he sees fit, to delay or not have future elections. It will not allow a circuit court judge who makes a ruling against the administration to enforce said ruling, even though it's not like they are enforcing them anyway, if you notice, because we was waiting on the marshals to knock on Mar-a-Lago, but that's a different conversation for a different day. It also, if someone, say for example, files a restraining order against the current administration for, like, say for example, you're an immigrant and you file a restraining order to ensure that you get due process, you have to post a cash bond for that. And most of the time, the amount that they're going to force them to pay, they don't have, so they can't even get justice or seek justice against this administration for no reason. In this bill, he also will have the power to fire government employees for political disloyalty. So if a person is a Democrat working in the government, then he can fire them. Oh, and leftists, this one's for you guys. This one's for you. Okay, hold on. Protesting it will be criminalized in this bill. And this is a law. This is not an executive order. This will be law. Okay? So, if you're supposedly a political activist, this is your time to shine, because y'all need to spam your congressperson. You need to spam, not Congress, your senators. You need to spam your senators and get them on the right side of history on this one. For real. This bill cannot pass this way. This bill cannot pass this way. And don't let them distract you with, we have provisions of our own when it comes to just the money part, the Medicaid, the Medicare part, because that part is the part that needs to be removed from that bill. That should not even be on that. If you wanted to do that, you just needed to stand alone. Sliding that in on this bill, that's some wicked work. That is wicked work. So,
NATO has scrambled warplanes for the second night in a row after Putin unleashed his largest ever drone strike on Ukraine. A total of 355 kamikaze drones were fired at Ukraine overnight, the highest number in the war so far, while Putin's forces also unleashed 9 destructive Kh-101 missiles. NATO aircraft were flown from Poland as a defensive measure to ensure security in border areas. It comes after Donald Trump,
I don't know what the hell happened to Putin,
said Putin's desire to take all of Ukraine would lead to Russia's downfall.
Sorry, I had a lot of noise in the background in my last video, so let's try this again. We have Donald Trump showing that he's way more pissed off against Vladimir Putin, who made a statement today pretty much saying that really bad things were going to happen in Russia. He stopped it, but now Putin is playing with fire. Now, this could be talking about the Ukraine aid. This could have been Europe talking about doing strikes across Russia or sending troops to Ukraine. Like, any of this can happen now. Now, yesterday, Germany announced that they were releasing the restrictions on how deep they can strike in Russia and how far the range of the missiles that they provide for Ukraine could go. So they can enhance it further or so on and so on. Anyways, here's the source from the Latin Times. Trump claims that he's stopped really bad things from happening to Russia and that Putin is playing with fire. Here it is again. Donald Trump warned on Tuesday that Vladimir Putin is playing with fire, claiming that he has personally prevented catastrophic consequences for Russia during its war in Ukraine. We also have Russian military exercises that are starting in the Baltic Sea, which is supposed to be helping them get ready for the seizing of their own ships from NATO. So they're practicing actually protecting these ships, and NATO's doing drills to seize these ships. Well, once again, that's another clash. This is why Russia's been warning Germany that this is a different type of an escalation. Just like yesterday, the Netherlands sent 24 F-16s to Ukraine, which Russia called a new escalation. They're seeing that Europe is getting more confident with facing Russia, and that could be a problem. Anyways, this is the latest. I got more news coming next.
So, like, that's all I had.
Sorry, I had a lot of noise
One thing about it, though,
in the background.
we're very close. You know what I'm saying? These things, these escalation, these retaliation, pretty much we already knowing that, these things is getting ready to spiral out of control. And also we knowing that these prophecies right now are just constantly lining up like clockwork. So now, let's go here first let's get this one here in Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. This man is constantly signing away with these executive orders, constantly, these unrighteous decrees that they have prescribed or authorized. Let's get this one right quick. It said Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. It said, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. And decrees goes into a law or some type of mandate. And that right grievousness which they have prescribed or authorized. So one thing about it, they constantly putting these unfair laws into place, constantly, targeting people of color, little by little, constantly putting their agenda into place, their plan, their evil scheme. This is what total control, the NWO, these things are fastly becoming reality. A lot of people still are scoffing and mock, still are not believing. These things are happening right before our because you don't see it. You think that you're still, a sense of normalcy. But guess what? All these things are going to break out suddenly. That's what, that's what's going to happen, like a thief in the night, or when you are not watching, when you're not praying. A lot of people are not praying. A lot of people don't have a fear of the Lord. A lot of things, that people, man, we're here, man. So let's read this once again. It's Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. So woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. So we already know about that big, beautiful bill, you go check it out. It's a lot of reading in it, but it's dealing with Project 25, so all this is about total control. So now let's go to this one here, because we constantly hearing rumors of war. Let's go straight to the point. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6. Let's get this right quick. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6. And it reads, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of war. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So the end is not yet. So we are in the birth pain. So right now, rumors of wars are all over the place. Threats, retaliation, escalation. Things are constantly building up. We already know, and we coming upon that time that we've never seen before. So we seeing rumors of war pretty much every day. Things could go nuclear at any given time. Verse 7, it said, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. That's what we're constantly seeing. We're seeing these nations are constantly rising against nations. We're seeing that the heathens are raging, saying that we are strong. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things are constantly happening. We're seeing that these are constantly seeing these alliance between North Korea, China, and Russia. You know what I'm saying? Also, we seeing that these African nations are constantly rising up too, and also we seeing that these Arab nations are rising up, just like the Bible said. You know, the Ezekiel chapter 38 war is lining up just like clockwork. These nations are rising against nations. Who they're rising up against? Israel, and also the West, and also the UK. You know, and we seeing that these things are coming to pass left and right. So it's getting, you know, we getting that. Also, we know famine is coming. You know, we already know they're getting ready to bring down this old system and bring up the new. It's going to cause a famine in the land, you know, food shortage. A lot of things are coming, you know, a lot of great sorrows upon us, the beginning of sorrow, pestilence, plagues, disease, you know, outbreaks, a lot of things, earthquakes pretty much every day, earthquakes in diverse places, just like the Bible said. The Bible is a true book, you know, every day. Verse 8 says, all of these are the beginning of sorrow, the birth pain. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, they're going to constantly increase. They're going to constantly get more intense. You know what I'm saying? Until we get to what? To the end. You know what I'm saying? Hey, one thing about it, through much tribulation, ye shall enter the kingdom of heaven. Man, we're very close. So, but let's read it in the NLT. It said, but all this is only the first of the birth pains, with more to come. So more is to come. We're seeing that these plagues are constantly coming up on every side, and they're not slacking down for a moment. We at the beginning of sorrows, great mourning, great tribulation, great persecution, great death and destruction. So that's where we at. So now let's go here. Let's get this one. You know, not meant to be a long lesson. I'm getting ready to shut it down. Tongue is very dry. A little bit tired too, but I'm gonna work through it. Let's get this one here. Habakkuk. Let's go to Habakkuk. Let's go straight to the point. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3 said, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Now, but that vision goes into what the signs of the time, with these prophecies. And right now, you know, it's speaking right now. It's speaking left and right. Things are happening, you know, and also it's not lying right now. It's not tarrying. It's not delaying right now. It is speaking loud and clear that we're living in the end time. You know, one thing about it, you know, the Bible is a true book. A lot of people are going to be in for a rude awakening. Let's read this once again. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3. Let's read it in the NLT. So the vision is for a future time. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled. So if it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not delay. So one thing about it, we're seeing it right now, it's not delaying. The Lord's comes what? Accelerating time for what the elect say. You know what I'm saying? So one thing about it, these days are constantly getting shorter and shorter. And one thing about it, we're getting very close to the great and glorious return of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So let's go to our last and final script. We'll close out here. And Salakia, you know, a little bit, you know, tired tonight, and my tongue is a little dry, but we're gonna work through it, and I'm hoping that you get edified through this lesson. Let's see here. Revelation chapter 11 and verse, let's go straight to the point. Verse, I think it's 14. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. Let's get this right here, because we are very close to this here. It said, Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe come quickly. And out of it, woe goes into destruction. We all know about the second woe, World War II. And also now the third woe, which in fact is World War III, is fast approaching. It's coming very quickly. And one thing about it, you know, is that make no delay. The door of repentance is closing. We're seeing that war is upon us, left and right, every day. Rumors of wars are all over the place. All sorts of escalation. Tension is rising. Retaliation. Nations are rising against nations. You know, the prophets in the highways and the byways, you know, constantly warning you of these video epistles. Also, we're seeing that the love of many is constantly waxing colder and colder. And one thing about it, we know that we're getting very close to what? Our salvation is very close at the door. And also we know that Jacob's trouble is at the door. And the main thing is at the door. It's that MOTB. she'll go to your right hand or your forehead. So we knowing right now that war tensions are here, war escalation, left and right, but we knowing that at some point, all hell is going to break loose. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is News and Prophecy, War Escalation. So I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rekah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.